I am Pixel Dan, and today we're going to be opening up Wave 2 of the Masters of the Universe Eternia Minis. That's right, so these are hitting stores right now. I scooped up a full set of them on eBay because that just felt easier than trying to hunt them down, so that's the route I took. But I should have a full set here. Pretty excited to get these guys opened up, to take a look at them. And one thing that's really notable, every wave of these is going to have different packaging, and I think that is awesome. So if you already watched my video about Wave 1, I already praised the Castle Grayskull packaging. I thought that these were really neat. I thought they added real good value to the whole blind bag idea that these are running with, because it sort of gives you a mini playset or a backdrop or a figure stand or whatever. I just thought it was really nice. So Wave 2 gives us a little plastic Snake Mountain playset, and it's amazing. Now, of course, it's just all molded in one solid color. It's purple, but the details are really great. You can see that they absolutely took inspiration off of that vintage toy, the vintage playset. I mean, look, you got the little grate with the wolf head on there. You got all these little faces worked in, the little hole there. I mean, it's really, really cool. And seriously, now we've got a little Snake Mountain, a little Castle Grayskull. I think these are super fun, and I'm really glad that Mattel is doing something like that. Because, you know, I know the blind bag thing, I don't know, it is what it is. Some people love it, some people hate it, but I definitely think that this adds something to it. So at least it's not just a box we're gonna rip open and throw away. We've got a cool little miniature playset or diorama with our figures. Now granted, we got a whole bunch of the same thing, but still, it's kind of fun. Okay, so the other thing I talked about when I looked over Wave 1 is the fact that these do have codes on the bottom. So they're all lettered. There's a number here that you can ignore, but the letter at the end actually correlates to the figure that is inside. So I'll make sure that I put that on screen for you guys right now so you can screenshot it. I'll put it in the video description. So if you guys are hunting for these, keep those codes with you so that way it's easy to know what you're looking for. So why don't we just go ahead and dive in? I'm not actually going to go by the chart right now. I'm just going to open each of these up. We're going to take a look at each of the figures within. You can see they just kind of open up very similar to the vintage playsets actually. Kind of unclip it on the side. Oh, boom. We're going to kick things off with Faker. Now, the other thing I want to show you guys, of course, there is a little leaflet on the inside there that is going to have a cool cross-sell for you with some artwork showing you everything that is in Wave 2. We have a few repacks from Wave 1 as well as a few repaints, so we'll get to all of those as we get to them. So let's put that Snake Mountain back here. Let's open up the bag. It's interesting to note that in Wave 1, all of the figures had a bag for the figure and a bag for the weapon. Looks like for Faker here at least, the weapon and the figure were both in the same bag. So it'll be interesting to see if that's a change that they made all the way across the board. So there is our brand new Faker, very popular character of course, so I'm glad to see him here. And this is really fun. I brought this in Wave 1, I've got it still sitting here, so we can do a quick comparison time, because this is the MOTU Minis Faker over here on the right, that came out back in 2014. So now you can see it compared to the new retail release. You can see that they are different. The face sculpts are different. It looks like the bodies might be mostly the same, but the paint is very different. It was a lot more detailed with the ones from 2014, but that's because they were 2-packs sold through Matty Collector. They weren't retail releases, so price point, I guess, was a little higher there. It's worth noting, like, look, the original from 2014's got the sword holster. The new one does not. The new one also does not come with a sword. He only comes with the battle axe. So yeah, it's really interesting looking at these two side by side. All right, so we kick things off with Faker. Let's go ahead and move along to the next one here. Oh, which is first appearance Trapjaw. So this is one of the repaints I told you about. We got regular Trapjaw in Wave 1. If any of you are confused by this, if you're not familiar with why he would look like this is what he looked like in early mini comics. The original mini comics that came with the original toys, there was one where he was like this lime green color. So here, let's bring in, this is the Wave 1 Trapjaw. You can see him side by side. So pretty cool. They're doing some deep cuts here, you know, at least if they're gonna do repacks, the repaints make sense, right? They make sense. So deep cuts there with our first appearance Trapjaw. Let's go ahead and go on to the next one here. So this is going to be D, letter D, and that is going to give us another repaint. This is our Man-at-Arms repaint. So this is really interesting. Is this Serpent Claw? Is that actually what they're calling him? It is! They're actually calling him Serpent Claw Man-at-Arms. So this is interesting because this is a repaint from the 2003 era toy line. During the Masters of the Universe versus the Snake Men era, which was like the tail end of that line. And basically they had a bunch of repaints at the end of that line, and this was the repaint of Man-at-Arms, and they called him Serpent Tracker Man-at-Arms. And it's really interesting to see that they stuck with that same name, because it's interesting to see them referencing the 2000X era stuff with this new modern retail line. That's kind of cool. Also, you want me to blow your mind? That was almost 20 years ago, guys. Isn't that insane? The 2002 reboot? 20 years ago almost. I can't believe it. But here's the Wave 1 Man-at-Arms standing alongside the Serpent Tracker. Just so you can see that they are the same figure. It's just a repaint. But deep cuts, guys. The MOTU fans that have been collecting for a long time definitely know what those are supposed to be. Okay, so we've got letter E. We're going to pop open letter E here. Hey, there we go. Now we've got somebody we haven't gotten from these retail bags yet. We got Beastman. Let's get him cracked open here. Now, Beastman was one of the ones we got originally back in 2014. So we've got him again now. So the colors on him are really interesting because it looks like his fur and like his armor are like the same color. Usually his fur is more orange and then his armor is more red, and that's kind of going on there. But you can see that they are very, very close in color. But there's our Beastman. He's got his whip accessory. So yeah, there we go. All right, let's get him put back here. I'm gonna line him up over here. And this is letter F. We're gonna open this up next. Oh, baby, yes. One of my all-time favorites, it's Stinkor. Man, I love Stinkor. Wouldn't it be great if this thing actually smelled? It does not. If this thing actually had that patchouli smell on it, it would be really, really stinking this room up already. But he does not. But he does come with his blue shield, which is exactly what the vintage toy came with. And I love that we have Stinkor. Oh my gosh. Stinkor is one of my favorite weirdos from Masters of the Universe. Absolutely love him. Love him. Might be my favorite in this wave so far. Let's see what else we get. G is the next one that we are opening. Cracking that open. And that just reveals normal He-Man. Now, that is one thing I saw in the cross-sell. It looks like He-Man and Skeletor were both repackaged for Wave 2. So if you've already got Wave 1, you've already got He-Man and Skeletor. They are the same figure. Would have been kind of cool if we got different weapons this time around, like if we got the battle axe instead of the sword, but it does appear to be exactly the same as the Wave 1 He-Man. So we got him again. Yep, make sure that's the one I already opened. So that brings us down to these last two, it looks like. So one of these, let's see, this is H, and yep, there he is. So there's Skeletor. So like I said, Skeletor and He-Man both got repackaged for Wave 2. You know, they're the two main characters. That's just the thing that Mattel tends to do with their Masters toy lines, always putting He-Man and Skeletor back out there. Sort of a bleed over thing from the 80s, because back then they couldn't keep He-Man and Skeletor on the shelf, so they were constantly reissuing them. It's also part of the reason we got so many variants of them back then. Always keep the main characters on the shelves. That's kind of one of their things. All right, so that brings us down to the final one in this wave, which is B. And if this is the one I think it is, this is the one I am so excited about. And I think this one's the Chase figure, although this, I don't know, there might be a couple Chase figures per wave. That might be what it is. But this guy right here, I can't believe they did it. I can't believe they did it. This, my friends, is a repaint of Skeletor. And it's what Mattel is officially calling in this little thing right here. They're calling him Golden Armor Skeletor or Gold Armor Skeletor. But we know what this is. Those of you that have been collecting this line for a long time, you know that this guy will forever be called Disco Skeletor. And it's amazing that he's here because he's sort of like one of those long-running jokes in Masters of the Universe. Basically, he was a terrible repaint that made no sense in the 2003 era toy line, and he's got a cult following. I might be part of the reason because I love this guy, but he's had a cult following for a long time. The fans named him Disco Skeletor way back in the day on the internet, and it's amazing that so many companies like Funko and Loyal Subjects, and now here again with Mattel, keep putting out Skeletor figures with this color scheme. I love it. I love it. So there you go. Disco Skeletor might be the highlight of this wave, but for real, Stinkor, I love Stinkor. I love it. I love it. These are a lot of fun. I love the Snake Mountain. I love the Gray Skulls. I think it's fun that we're getting new minis, especially for those of us who already had all the original minis, and now we've got like all these new characters to add to the collection. So really good stuff, and they're not stopping here. We've got multi-packs coming out. We've got vehicles coming out. There's another wave of these blind bags. It's amazing. I'll definitely be picking all of those up and covering them as well. So stay tuned, my friends, and until next time.
The Toys of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe is available for pre-order now. This official guidebook is published by Dark Horse Books and features over 750 pages of photos and information on your favorite He-Man and She-Ra action figures. And don't miss out on the exclusive bundle pack available for pre-order now from PowerCon. This bundle includes the official guide as well as an exclusive character guide supplement that you won't be able to buy anywhere else. Don't miss out. You have the power.